I absolutely love side hustles. I think that side hustles are a great way to make some extra money. It's a great way to spend your free time, and it's a great resource and tool to use if you are in a tough spot and you need to figure out a way to keep yourself afloat. So in times like what we're going through right now, I think that side hustles are such a great tool to utilize. And even whenever the economy is normal and the job market is normal, I still think that side hustles are an excellent resource to turn to. In fact, whenever I lost my business and I lost my source of income overnight, I relied almost exclusively on side hustles as a way to make money, to pay my bills, and to feed myself, my dogs, and pay my mortgage. So with that being said, today I'm going to be talking about 10 side hustles that you can start implementing today. These are all side hustles that you can either do from home at your own time or on your own schedule. And all of these are ones that you can get started with today. So at that, the first side hustle I want to talk about is the OG side hustle. Now this is the side hustle before side hustles were even side hustles. And that is buying and selling things on Craigslist or eBay, or otherwise known as flipping products. I flipped items on Craigslist and eBay back in middle school and high school, and this has been around forever, meaning that it has stood the test of time despite the fact that there are so many new apps coming out, so many new side hustles being introduced into the industry. Flipping things has been a constant, and it is a proven way to make money. How flipping works is it's really actually quite simple. All you do is buy something and then you sell it at a higher price, and that's it. Now, of course, it is something that's very much easier said than done, and there are a lot of people that probably lose money flipping products, but there are a lot of ways and a lot of people that make a lot of money doing this. A few things that I recommend that you guys do if you are interested in exploring the world of flipping products, then I would recommend sticking to what you know, meaning you probably have something or some sort of product that you know better than others. And it's a good idea to look out for those and to seek those out as far as flipping prospects go. For me, whenever I was in middle school and high school, I flipped a lot of products on Craigslist, and I stuck almost exclusively to 3 things: musical instruments, sporting goods like bikes, scooters, skateboards, and electronics. And I very rarely veered from those 3 things. I'd also recommend choosing things that are relatively easy to fix. Buying, fixing, and then selling those things are one of the best ways to make a good amount of money flipping products. But it's important to find things that are just damaged enough and not too damaged. For example, if you're going to be flipping electronics and you want to buy a damaged electronic item and you want to fix it and then flip it, you probably don't want to go with something that's been like ran over by a car and then dropped in a river. You probably want to find something that just has minimal damage, and that way you can easily fix it up and then sell it for a profit. The other thing that you should keep in mind with flipping products is that smaller is often better. The big flips and the high profit margin products are the things that get people excited about flipping. Those are the items and the things that get TV shows, that get blog posts written about them, and that have YouTube channels, and that go viral on the internet. But the fact is, to find a high ticket item to flip can be really difficult, and it can be really, really risky. So if you're going to be exploring the option of flipping products on eBay or Craigslist, I would definitely recommend to think small. It's not those big profit margin products that are going to make you a lot of money over time. It's going to be those smaller products that you can sell a lot of. For example, buying something for $20 and then selling it for $30. Buying something for $50 and then selling it for $70. It's really about having consistent profit over time, and then that compounds to make a large profit. Whereas if you are going after those big ticket items, it can often be extremely risky, and at the end of the day, they are more time consuming, they're more risky, and they require a lot more upfront cost. Where if you're going with the smaller items, you can really get started immediately, there's not a whole lot of risk, and you can start compounding that profit over and over again. The second side hustle that I want to talk about is driving for Uber or Lyft. Now, this is something that almost everybody talks about in regards to side hustles. It's always included in side hustle lists because it's a really well-known side hustle. Now, I do understand that as this video is being published, COVID-19 and social distancing is an issue all over the world. And because of that, driving for Uber or Lyft may not be as good of an idea as it once was. So though it may be harder to take part in Uber and Lyft now than it used to be, there will be a time where social distancing is a thing of the past. And once that time occurs, it is a really good idea to explore Uber and Lyft as a legitimate side hustle. If you have a reliable car, if you have an open schedule, and if you like dealing with people, Uber and Lyft can be a really great way to make almost a full-time wage. In fact, I know people who are making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year exclusively driving for Uber or Lyft. Number 3 is delivering for services like Instacart. Now, for those of you who don't know what Instacart is a service that allows for people to have their groceries delivered to them. So if you are somebody who doesn't want to leave their house, then you can order your groceries on Instacart and then you can have somebody pick up those items and then deliver them to you. Instacart is often used instead of using delivery services through services like Walmart or Amazon. Delivering through Instacart is a really great way to make extra income because you can do it on your own time and on your own schedule, and you also don't necessarily have to have direct contact with people. Meaning, if you aren't somebody who wants to have people sitting in your car and talking with you, Instacart could be a really great alternative. The other great thing with Instacart is that having your groceries delivered to you is a relatively new concept. It's something that has been introduced recently in the last few years, but with COVID-19, it's something that has really skyrocketed in popularity because people are feeling the need to have their groceries delivered out of necessity. But once COVID-19 is passed and once social distancing standards get lowered, people are still going to prefer to have their groceries delivered to them out of pure convenience rather than pure necessity. So people are getting used to the luxury of having their groceries delivered to them, and they won't want to go back to having to go pick up their own groceries, so they will continue using services like Instacart. And that's where Instacart drivers will end up really benefiting from the fact that over the last few weeks and the last couple of months, we've had to get our groceries delivered to us out of necessity. So because of that, there is a large need for Instacart drivers, and it can be a great side hustle for a lot of people. Number 4 is on the same topic, and that is to deliver food through UBEREATS, DoorDash, or GRUBHUB. Similar to Instacart, food delivery services have skyrocketed over the last few weeks and to a month because of COVID-19. And people have started getting their food delivered to them out of necessity, but at the end of the day, having your food delivered to your door is something that is extremely convenient and appealing to a lot of people. So even once the world returns to normal, there's going to be a whole lot of people that continue getting their food delivered to them out of convenience rather than out of necessity. With that being said, driving for UBEREATS, DoorDash, or GRUBHUB can be a great way to make extra income on your own time and on your own schedule. And as long as you have an economical car, this could be a really lucrative side hustle. I have never delivered directly with these types of services, but I did used to own a restaurant, and whenever I owned the restaurant, we did use GRUBHUB, UBEREATS, and DoorDash to deliver our food. But instead of utilizing those freelance drivers, we hired our own drivers that delivered on our behalf with those platforms. And I know that the drivers that delivered for me made really good money through DoorDash, GRUBHUB, and UBEREATS tips. And so I know that there's a lot of money that can be made, especially if you're an efficient delivery driver. My 5th tip for you guys is something that I've talked about in the past, and that is social media marketing. And you guys may be thinking to yourself,
well, Aubrey, I don't know about social media marketing. I don't have a past in digital marketing.
I don't know how to do this.
And my response to that statement is, yes, you do. If you have an Instagram, if you know what Twitter is, if you have experience with Facebook, then you have the background knowledge required to manage social media for a business or a company. You see, what I mean by this is that social media is so important to companies' growth. And nowadays, it seems like every company, every business, every entrepreneur has an Instagram page, a Facebook page, and most even have a Twitter page. But what a lot of people don't take into account is how time-consuming and tedious managing these accounts can be. Figuring out what you're going to post, writing the captions, actually physically posting those posts, and then engaging with your audience, that is a full-time job in itself. And that's where a lot of companies outsource this task to other people. So how this works is that if you were hired to manage somebody's social media account, you would post their post and captions for them, you would schedule out their content, and then you would engage with their audience. So you would respond to DMs, you would respond to comments, you would like and heart comments, things like that. This is something that is extremely valuable to companies, but really requires no upfront skill or knowledge on the behalf of the freelancer. This is something that is extremely valuable to companies and business owners that are low on time, but can be extremely lucrative for you, somebody who is wanting to have this as a side hustle. How you find these types of gigs is you can look on Upwork.com and you can search either social media marketer, social media poster, social media account manager, phrases like that. And if you search that, then you will find dozens, if not hundreds of listings on Upwork looking for somebody that fills that exact same service. Another option is reaching out to businesses directly. If you live in a town and you know of small business owners, or you know of restaurants or businesses that could use this type of service, you could always reach out to them directly and pitch your proposal. This is something that can make a lot of money and can eventually become a full-time job if you have enough clients to support it. My next tip is on the same type of thought process as social media marketing and finding those people through Upwork, and that is becoming a freelancer. Freelancing is a great side hustle, and in my opinion, it's one of the few side hustles that can actually turn into a legitimate career that's pretty high paying. And I know what you guys are going to say.
I have no background skills that support freelancing.
And my response to that would be, yes, you do. If you have any sort of skill, if you have any sort of drive, if you have any sort of desire to make money on the side, then freelancing could be an excellent way for you to make money. You can turn towards resources like freelancer.com, Upwork, or even Fiverr. And I have a lot of videos that discuss this. But freelancing is simply providing a service on a contractual basis to a person who needs that service. And there are dozens, if not hundreds, of different freelancing gigs out there for people of all backgrounds and all skill levels. And the best part is freelancing you can do from the comfort of your own home, you can do it at your own time and your own schedule, and you can also start building your freelancing portfolio to the point where you start making really good money doing it. The seventh side hustle that I have for you guys is either pet sitting or dog walking. And I put these in the same category because they're very similar. Now, there are apps out there that exist that help connect pet owners with people who are willing to walk or watch their pets. And two examples of these are Wag and Rover. I see a lot of value with this side hustle because I myself am somebody that would use this side hustle and hire somebody to complete this task for me. I have two dogs that are like my children, and whenever I travel, it creates a lot of anxiety with myself because I never know what I should do with my dog. What I always do whenever I travel is I pay a family friend or a relative to come watch my dogs for me. But there's always the possibility that one day if I go out of town, maybe a family friend or a relative won't be available. And the question would be, what would I do in that case? And the answer would be, I probably would turn to services like Wag or Rover. And these are great for pet owners because it allows for owners to keep their dogs in a familiar and safe environment when they travel without having the anxiety, stress, and the cost of going to a boarding facility. And not only is it good for the pet owners, but it's good for the people who are providing this service because oftentimes these people are pet lovers, and so you know that you're leaving your pet in the hands of somebody responsible. It's also a great way to make extra money, and if you're somebody that loves animals but you don't necessarily have a pet, it's a great way to kind of scratch that itch without actually going out and adopting a pet. I personally know of a few different people who have used the service Wag and Rover from the perspective of a side hustler, and they've made pretty decent money doing it. And it's one of those side hustles that is kind of more on the fun side because you get to spend time with a dog, a cat, or a random other pet. My next tip for you guys is a side hustle I didn't even know existed until recently, and whenever I was introduced to it, it just made total sense to me, and I don't know why I didn't realize that this was a side hustle, and that is being a mystery or secret shopper. Now, for those of you who don't know, a mystery shopper or a secret shopper is somebody who is hired by a company or a business owner to act as a customer. And typically how this works is this person will go into this place of business, they'll pose as a customer, they'll order the product or service, and then they'll report back to the owner on how the experience was, how the product was, and how their staff acted to the customer. Now, this is a great way for business owners to keep an eye on their staff whenever they're not there in order to do it themselves. It's also a great way to get a glimpse into how your staff and your employees act when you're not around. So this is a really great side hustle from a business owner's perspective, but it's a great side hustle for somebody who's wanting to be a secret shopper or a mystery shopper because it's a good way to make some extra income. But then in my research, I've also found that oftentimes if you're a secret shopper for like a business that sells a product or service, you can oftentimes keep that product and service for free. So for example, you could be a secret shopper for a restaurant, and not only will you get paid for your time, but you'll also be able to eat for free. And that may not sound like a lot, but $10 here and there adds up, and a free meal here or there adds up as well. So if you're not looking for like those big buck side hustles and you're just looking for something small that you can do a few times a week, a secret shopper could be a really great method. Through my research, the way that you find these secret shoppers is you can oftentimes just simply Google secret shoppers in my area, like secret shoppers in Dallas, Texas, secret shoppers in Los Angeles, and you can oftentimes be connected with agencies that arrange these type of deals. The other option is to reach out to these business owners directly and see if this is a service that they would be interested in hiring you for. So the 9th tip for you guys is to take part in focus groups. Now, this is one that's very interesting, and it's very interesting because this is a side hustle that I have done myself in the past. In fact, my sister has been doing this for like 10 years now, and I didn't really realize that it was a side hustle until doing research for this video. But what it means to be a focus group member is that whenever companies come out with a new product, a new advertisement, a new service, they don't just throw out these product, services, and advertisement into the public and then just hope for the best. Everything that a company does, especially a large company, is very meticulously planned, it's very meticulously researched, and it's very well thought out. And part of this research process is to go to focus groups. And so what companies will do is they'll present their product, their service, their advertisement campaign to a focus group, and then they'll see what their reaction and their response is to it. If the response is positive, then they will typically move forward to the next phase of research. If the response is negative, then they'll go back to the drawing board. And so what it means to be a part of a focus group is you are one of these people providing your feedback to an advertisement, a product, or a service for a company. But how it works with my sister is she gets called every few weeks to see if she'd be interested in taking part in a research study. For example, I know once she did a focus group study on Doritos, and her job was to taste 3 different types of Doritos and then rate them from best to worst. And for that focus group study, she got paid like $50, and it took like an hour of her time. Now, focus groups can really be wide-ranging. Some can offer you $10 to $30, and some can offer you a couple $100, depending on what product or service you're being a focus group member for. If you guys are interested in taking part in a focus group, then I would definitely recommend just Googling focus groups in my area. In Dallas, Texas specifically, there's a company called Bryles Research that offers this service, but I don't know if they are a national company. So if you Google focus groups in my area, you should be able to find companies that recruit focus group members, and you can sign up through there, and that way you'll be notified anytime there's a new study that you can take part in for money. But focus groups are a great way, especially if you're somebody that doesn't have a whole lot of dietary restrictions, that doesn't mind driving, and doesn't mind taking a few hours of your time. And my last side hustle for you guys is to simply scour the internet for any need that needs to be filled. You see, the basics of business at the very core is simply just filling a need, is finding where people's pain points are and then figuring out a solution to that pain point. Finding a need and then figuring out a service for that need. That's all that business is. And you would be surprised at how many kind of services you can find that need to be provided by simply looking on the internet, by looking on Facebook, looking on Nextdoor, looking on Craigslist. So if you want to do something that maybe is more labor intensive, that's more one-on-one, that's more one-off, I definitely recommend that you go and check out these platforms like Facebook, Craigslist, Nextdoor, and you see what services are needed in your area. Maybe a neighbor is offering $20 to help them move their refrigerator. Maybe somebody is offering $50 to mow their grass. Maybe somebody's offering $100 to help them move into a new house. There are so many people out there that need help, and there are so many people that are offering money for that help. And at the end of the day, don't overcomplicate this process. Whenever I was doing research for this video, I looked up the best side hustles, and there were so many ridiculous suggestions on there. Things like create an app, create an audiobook, create a podcast, create a YouTube channel. And though all of those avenues are really great avenues to go down, those are really time-intensive side hustles because they take time to gain traction. They take energy to gain traction. YouTube, for example, I've been doing this YouTube channel for 3.5 months. It takes a whole lot of time to set up this YouTube channel, to write the scripts for the videos, to film the videos, to edit the videos, to upload the videos. It is a part-time job in itself, and I have made $0 from it so far. So whenever you're looking for side hustles that can pay you today, that can start gaining traction today, turning to avenues like YouTube or podcasting or audiobooks simply are not viable options. But the options that I've listed out here, And by going out and reaching out to friends, family, neighbors on what services they need and then providing that service, those are side hustles that can make you a lot of money and can start gaining traction today without any lead time, without any upfront cost to you. So guys, that is my 10 side hustles that I recommend that you guys take part in. These are all side hustles that you can get started today and that can fit anybody's needs, anybody's time constraints, and anybody's schedule. So if you're looking for ways to start making money today in your free time, then definitely check out one of these 10, if not all of the 10, because you can always experiment and see which ones you like the best. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button down below. I would greatly appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next video.